G'day guys, Peter from Team Low Range 4x4 here on what is my first public proper live stream. Now, unfortunately, despite me trying to play around with the settings for quite a while, there is a little bit of lag in the camera, and I'm going to obviously fight in the future to try and make sure this is a non-event, especially after buying this camera. I don't know if it's the camera itself or the fact the internet is not quite up to speed at my place at the moment, but anyway, I'm going to forge forward regardless of the conditions. So first thing I want to do is welcome everybody to the first proper public live stream, and I want to thank everybody who has jumped on board and subscribed to Team Low Range over the years. It really does mean a lot to me personally, and every comment and like and share has also contributed to what the channel is today, and I really want to thank everybody for doing that. Now, being a live stream format, I'm going to be having to do things a little bit different, and I have had a few testers so far, and I can see that I'm too busy trying to pretend it's an actual video instead of a interactive live stream as it is, and I've just got to sort of shake it out, loosen up a little bit, because it shouldn't be such a formal thing as a video, because I just can't chop it up into bits for when the good bits are here. So I'm going to learn to relax a little bit more when it comes to the old live streaming format. I do have some notes here, and just a couple of things to go through. The first thing is I want to talk about Take a Moment. Now, if you're not familiar with Take a Moment, I've done about 3 of them so far. The plan was to do 1 to 2 every year, and that really was going to be the videos for talking about the channel, things that are affecting the channel, and of course any future video plans I did have, and I was going to discuss it because I didn't have the community. I still don't actually have the community little it's like a sort of like a page, a paste that you can put some text on. You can put out questionnaires and like yes or no answers if you'd like to see this video, and that obviously comes into effect, I believe, at the 1,000 subscriber mark, which is our first goal here on the channel, to achieve that, and then we can communicate more regularly and easily with you guys. But I'm here right now in the live stream era because that's something I didn't realize was available to me, albeit of course just on the computer at this stage. So at this moment in time I can see that everything seems to be going okay, even though I look really delayed and out of sync with what I'm actually saying. So apologies for that once again. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was the Hilux itself. So quite recently I have decided to retire it from its commuting duties. So if you're not familiar, and I don't blame you if you're not, I used to commute about 160 kilometers per day, 5 days a week. And it gave me a great opportunity to test out tyres and tyre wear on the bitumen. However, doing those kinds of Ks is racking up quite considerably in the Hilux, and it's starting to get to the point where things are going to be replaced, like timing belts, and next, hopefully not very soon, but the injectors might need to be looked at, especially if I'm going to be going off remote for driving. Now, I do want it to last a long time, and I'm not sure where I'm going to be in the next 5 years with this channel, and I'd like it to be around during that time. And the only way to do that is to stop punish it on these big long on-road commutes and focus more on just four-wheel driving. And after all, I did make the investment in those 3 next level, as I view it, of course, modifications for the Hilux. And I'm going to be doing a video on that soon, because the very first one was a look at my N70 Hilux. I believe the photo did come up in the intro there, and that was basically talking about the essentials that I had put on it. So basically the equipment I needed not to hopefully or reduce damage to the Hilux so it was off-road, and unleash its hidden potential, because it is a very good off-road vehicle, and a lot of four-wheel drives are these days. They just compromised more for the road and safety standards for on-road use, of course, than the off-road arena these days. And as four-wheel drivers, we get the opportunity to change those within legal reasons, of course, for our off-road enjoyment, and of course to reduce that damage and free up their abilities. And I did that with the essential package, as I called it in my first modification video. However, I do, I've invested a little bit more, I should say, in the Hilux, and they have freed up even more capability on the off-road and carrying fronts, and I will, do a combined video on their benefits, because individually they are fantastic items in their own. Now, this will be the Solus, there's the spotlights, of course, that I've got, the Rhino rack, and the diff locker, which I'm yet to do an actual video on itself, talking about it, and I feel that will come first, followed by this next level of how they all work together to make the vehicle work better off-road. And of course, I'm looking forward to doing that, and now that the Hilux has retired from its long commutes, I will definitely be heading out to do those in the off-road arena very soon. So what else would I like to discuss on the channel today? Now, I will say first off, when people find out that I actually am live streaming, and I'm hopefully going to do that on a more regular basis once I get everything down pat. As I said, the lag at the moment in the video versus the audio is an issue that I need to sort out properly. But once I can do that and line up some slides and pictures and things and get my head around this whole thing properly, I will definitely be making out, or carving out I should say, sections of topics and things to discuss, and then hopefully people, as they realize that I'm live streaming, can jump on board as well and comment and like, and of course contribute to the conversation at the same time. As you've probably seen a lot of other live streaming events in the past, especially if you're watching this now, and the interaction part is the biggest part of live streaming, and I'm definitely interested in that in the future. So I will, of course, post in advance when I'm live streaming, so more people can jump on board and be part of the conversation. So that's something to look forward to on that front as well. But I will be covering news, and that's going to move to the next item on my list in front of me. Is I'm going to be trying to look into like four-wheel driving news on a live streaming basis, of course. I won't just randomly throw it up in a video here and there. It'll probably be discussed on the four-wheel driving live streams that I'm going to be doing in the future, like this one. And the main reason is, I'd like to get your feedback, as I just mentioned previously, and that will be a big positive. But I've got some news on the Great Wall Motors, which they've renamed as the GWM. They've unveiled, I should say, using proper English, 3 new types of the Canyon, I believe it is, Ute four-wheel drive, all powered by a 2-litre turbo diesel 4-cylinder with 120 kilowatts and 400 newton meters of torque. For comparison, my Hilux has about 119 kilowatts, maybe at best, and about 343 newton meters of torque. So this brand new Chinese Ute is outstripping it in that department. However, of course, it is a 2-litre, which is mated to a ZF 8-speed auto. That's not too bad, I guess, compared to the 5-speed in my Hilux, but it is a 3-litre turbo diesel, the M70. So I'm getting off track here by comparing the two when I really should be just telling you a little bit more about it. So there's 3 different levels. I haven't written particularly what those levels will consist of, but there's going to be a lot of information about it. And the real question and the real reason I'm bringing this up is you've got a 2-litre here, 120 kilowatts, 400 newton meters of torque, 8-speed auto, on-demand 4-wheel drive with a diff locker. Are we starting to get to the point where Chinese Utes can be, taken a bit more seriously? And of course, there is going to be concerns about durability, especially, longevity is another thing with Australia's conditions. Like, it's obviously, we've got pretty good temperature changes here, and I know we don't have the snowy conditions that you would see elsewhere in the world, unless you're going to the snowy mountains, but that's a very narrow, like small area. A lot of desert areas, a lot of heavy rainfall, a lot of droughts, all this stuff is going to affect the longevity of the vehicle, dust, blah blah, to continue there. So the question mark is it worth looking into or not? And I'm sure a lot of people that watch the channel will be thinking, well, I'm a bit of a Toyota fanboy. I only have the one four-wheel drive at this stage, but would I ever consider, grabbing something like this? And I don't know. To be honest, I would like a really capable four-wheel drive other than the Hilux. It's one of those things I would like to have, two running at the same time. Gives me the option of, putting someone else in. We can go on longer journeys. It's very hard to organise these bits and pieces with other people, of course, because there was another thing I was going to talk about on this channel, which I probably won't get into here because I'm going to go off topic of this. But it's whether or not I should talk about the history of the channel and why I have decided just to go out on my own instead of getting a group of people together and actually hitting the tracks. But I'll just let me finish off this story right here. Is that I would probably look into a GWM, as they've been renamed, Canyon, just out of interest and curiosity, if nothing else. I would love to hit up one of these manufacturers of these new imported utes and say, hey, look, I'd like to give it a run along the Powerline tracks, or let's see what, I don't know, you've got to look at the clearance and everything like that and what the limitations of what they will allow you to do, but you give them a run and see if they're worthy for other people that want to get into four-wheel driving, because the used market at the moment is very, very expensive. They call it the COVID tax, and then of course if you're looking at a Toyota, they've got Toyota tax and double tax, and even I know a few more popular shows, I would say, like four-wheel drive 24/7 have covered the fact that four-wheel drives, especially in the used market, are getting extremely expensive, very expensive. And I've even done the maths myself, saying, look, if I was to, which I'm not going to, of course, ever, sell my Hilux to upgrade to a different vehicle, or even the new Hilux, it's just going to be another 5 years of heavy investment, and and it's because you're not actually gaining any ground, and that's if I got top dollar for my Hilux too. So it's just something that's really hard for a new person to get into if you're looking for a new four-wheel drive, and these Chinese utes might be the answer to those questions and things like that. If longevity and of course warranties and customer service and everything else is on par and up to scratch, it might be worth diving into in the future. Now, of course, I've rambled on quite a long time about that particular subject, but I am generally curious in it. I even thought about the LTV60, and I believe a new version of that is coming out soon. And I actually was driving back along the Powerline tracks and saw somebody in a brand new LTV60 at that time going through, and I thought, well, you know what, he's not doing too bad. Of course, it was a completely stock ute, and I'm not sure of the availability of accessories for those, but I do hear they are out there in some shape or form. Alright, I've got to get away from this subject of Chinese utes, because I know it's not everyone's tastes, of course, but one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about on the live stream was why I got into doing a four-wheel drive channel, because at the end of the day, I didn't want to find myself hosting a four-wheel drive channel at all, because at the end, I keep saying at the end of the day, but anyway, what I wanted to say about it in a nutshell, and if you want to hear a bit more of the story, I'll probably try and focus on it in its own dedicated live stream or video. But when I started the channel, it was really a response, not a desire, because when I was going out four-wheel driving, I was dragged on by my brother-in-law at the time to go do monkey gum, pretty much stock, like I only had all-terrains roughly and a snorkel on my Hilux. We went and did monkey gum, and I put together this four-wheel drive action style cheesy sort of video, mainly for the guys that came along on the on the trip, of course. And I just whacked it on my private YouTube channel in a public way, of course, because I needed the guys to be able to access it and see it. I wasn't familiar with the unlisted version at that stage. And what ended up happening is, instead of getting 20-30 views that I was used to on live streams, and not live streams, sorry, on videos at that time, I went up to 500 or 600, 700 views, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, I've got something here. Skipping forward, I basically decided that I didn't want people subscribing to my personal family YouTube channel, so to speak. I thought it might be a better idea if I was making more videos with these guys, and I had no contemplation of doing it solo at that stage, of course. And I was going to go out with these guys, and I decided to make Team Low Range, or TLR 4x4. And the reason why it's called TLR instead of Team Low Range is it's easier to type in and search for. So that's why that's like that. But it definitely is Team Low Range. That's what I wanted it to be, and just for ease of accessibility, I've put it as TLR, and it's fine as far as I can tell. Anyway, so I did that. I reposted the video. It never got the traction it first did, which is disappointing. And when I thought I was going to head out with these other blokes again, I hit him up, my brother-in-law at the time, and he sent me a picture of his FJ in a sales yard for sale. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fantastic. Which gets back to the whole point of why I didn't want to get out with a group of guys in the future, because you've got to rely on them, and if they decide to throw the towel in for whatever reason, it can be many reasons, then you're left holding the I don't know what to say, holding something, holding the legacy of the channel itself. And that's nobody's fault. That's just how things go. There's family things, there's life things, there's situations that happen, and I don't think they're going to affect. It's less intrusive if it's just the one person, which is myself. And I'm not that shy when it comes to talking on camera. In person, I can be a little bit more shy, if you want to put it that way. However, I feel that TLR 4x4, or Team Low Range, as I should just say anyway, is evolving quite well, and it's taken a while to figure out what people are interested in. And funnily enough, the thing I found very interesting is no one seems to be interested in four-wheel driving, which, hey, wow, okay. Yes, I haven't done any really hard tracks recently, and I haven't done anything with many people and tried to get all the different angles and things like that, and that might do well, especially these days. But I've noticed when I did Muddy Mayhem, I went out, I tried to get every angle I could, and I was really, really interested in trying to bring it into a I just wanted to see if there was interest out there, and it never really took off. So the reviews and the helpful hints and tips seem to be the go, and I've got heaps of those up my sleeve, so I'll be definitely making a lot more videos on that. And I do have a couple of ideas of refreshing a couple of videos, like the dedicated tire deflator video. I just got a bit carried away with my intros when I first started the channel, and I was just drone here, good angle here and stuff, and I really should have focused more on what the information I was trying to convey is. And it doesn't mean I can't have a small intro here and there, but I think I may need to go over and do a few more of those important videos and bring them up to scratch for 2021 and onwards. That's pretty much all I can cover here at the moment, and I really do think I've said all I can really say at this moment in time. So I do apologize once again for the lag that's going on at the moment. It's just something I'm just not up to speed with. But as far as live streams in the future, I will let everybody know on Facebook, Instagram, I will even do a very short video, maybe via my mobile, to let people know, so they will be informed, because that way more and more people can interact with each other and myself, and hopefully we can get a conversation started about how how things are going in the four-wheel driving world, especially with COVID-19 at these days, and cover a few more subjects. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching, especially if you're watching this later, and I will catch you in another live stream, hopefully in the future. So I really think, yeah, I think it's gone well. Do you think it's gone well? Let me know in the comments. I will appreciate it. So I'll have to get back to you guys in the future, and I appreciate anybody who's been watching at this stage. So I'm Peter from Team Low Range 4x4. Hopefully I can make a swift and glorified exit from this live stream, because I'm really not sure how to do it. So alright guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes. Alright, I'll catch you in the next one, hopefully very soon. Alright, see you later.